Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a really good week. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome, welcome. Super glad you're here. Let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from today. Today I am in Tampa Bay. I had to think about it for a second. Tampa Bay area, Florida. Next week I think I'll be in Oregon, but nonetheless, for those of you who tune in every single week, sometimes I'm in Tampa Bay and sometimes in another part of the world. So while you all are starting to tune in, I did want to remind you, in case you missed the last couple of mental health moments, that I will be at the Get to Worthy Summit, which is in Philadelphia on, I don't know why my computer today, anyways, I updated it today and now it's popping up with all sorts of things in the middle of a live, of course, which never happens, but it's happening today. nonetheless, um, nonetheless, so it's in the Philadelphia area, May 24th and 25th. I will be there, super excited to be there as one of their speakers. Be sure to register. I believe they're still doing early bird tickets. You can use my promo code Hammond10 and get $10 off either general admission or the VIP ticket. So be sure to register for that. It's gettoworthysummit.com, May 24th and May 25th in Philadelphia. And essentially the summit is all things, my favorite things, related to mental health, wellness, how to be a better version of yourself. What are the tools? What are the resources? It's going to be amazing. It's hosted by a dear friend of mine, Nate Evans Jr., who is just phenomenal in the mental health space. So I'm super excited to be at his event. It's going to be outstanding. I already know that. So I'm super excited to be there. So again, there's a link on the screen if you want to register to attend, and just let me know. And of course, the comments. Today's mental health moment. Essentially, so I had someone the other day that watches on the YouTube, on my YouTube page, a mental health moment, and they asked me if I could do a mental health moment about time management, which I thought was a really, really good topic. So I don't know if she's watching today, but nonetheless, I told her that I would do them in one of the next upcoming mental health moments. And it's a really important topic because, well, let me know in the comments if you would agree, but most of us feel like we're so busy and we're so overwhelmed and we don't have enough time. So if you feel like that is you, then write yes in the comment. If you're like, I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have enough time, put yes in the comments. So that is literally the number one thing that I have heard as a psychologist, going to different communities, speaking at different events. When I talk about mental health and wellness, that is actually the number one thing that I hear is I don't have time for this. But here's the thing. I'm going to give you a couple of tips today to think about implementing in your life. No, I wish, but I can't, nor can any of us make more hours in a day, right? It is what it is. We all have our 24 hours. However, the point is, how do you manage that time? And the first thing to think about, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips today, but the first thing for you to really think about, you have to sit down with yourself for a second. I know we're all busy here, but for a second and really work on today. What is your priority in your life? Like, what are your true priorities? Because what your priorities are today may not be the same as they were a couple years ago, or may not be what they'll be a couple years from now, because we're always changing. But the number one thing you have to say to yourself as a start is, what are my true priorities? Because my son is 11 now, almost 12, in a couple months coming up here. And before my child, right? My priorities were different. Like life as wife and now mom, like there's a different set of priorities. And maybe one day when he leaves the house and go off to college, there'll be another set of priorities, right? So whatever, and it doesn't have to just be children, but whatever your major life changes are, your priorities are going to change with that. You still have the same amount of time, but with that being said, then you get to start to make some adjustments for yourself. So so for those of you who tend to tune into Mental Health Moment every single week, you'll know that especially over the last couple of years, I've made massive changes in my life, because one of the things was, one of my priorities was mindset growth, and not just mentally, but mindset growth, meaning how do I grow emotionally and spiritually and mentally and physically, right? So that was my number one priority. So if that is my number one priority, then I have to make sure that the things in my life are matching what I'm saying my priority is. So the first thing again that we're talking about with time management is your priorities. Here's the thing, and I will tell you transparently that I used to think I knew what my priorities were, but the problem with my time management was I was, well, first of all, trying to create more time in not healthy ways. But I wasn't really prioritizing, right, my health, for example. So what I used to tell myself many years ago, not now, thank goodness, but what I used to tell myself many years ago is, okay, if I get less sleep tonight, then I'll have more hours to complete whatever it is I needed to do to finish up my to-do list. So I say, okay, well, if I only get 3 or 4 hours of sleep, then those extra couple of hours that I should have been sleeping in the first place, I can use that time to get what I need done. And then what I also used to tell myself many years ago is, okay, if I skip the gym today, if I skip like I would calculate in my head, well, I'd be like, okay, if I skip going to the for that, let's say 1 hour class at the gym, takes me 15, 20 minutes to get there. Like I was doing the calculation, I'm like, okay, good. I gained 2 more hours out of my day or, whatever the math came out to, right? Like I would start to do those types of calculations, which you can create more time that way. But the issue is, what do you what did you make a priority in your life? So right now in my life, it's a high priority to make sure I'm exercising. It's a high priority to make sure I'm getting adequate sleep. It's a high priority to make sure that I'm eating healthy. So if those things are the priorities, I can't I can't be like skipping out on those to grab more time to do something else. Does that make sense? But what you can do, so again, I'm just giving you an example of my priorities, but you have to think for you, what are your true priorities? And when you list those out, write them down. I know some of you take notes on mental health moment, but really and truly write out. And if you think to yourself, oh, I know what my priorities are, but if you really took the time to sit down and say, okay, today, what are my highest priorities? Like top 5 highest priorities, and you write those things down and you tell yourself, like, give yourself permission to not skip out on whatever your 5 priorities are. So I will tell you though, and I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it's been a while, but sometimes I still have those days where I'm like, if I, skip the gym today, or if I, got a little less sleep, like I can get some more time on my day. And it does, it's a temptation, I'm not gonna lie. But I've trained myself enough, well, I've trained my mind enough at this point to really put a almost like a stop to that thought and go, "No," because that's your priority though, right? So something else can change in your day. You can take time away from something else. Maybe it's social media. We all need digital detoxes sometimes, right? But you're not taking it away from the things that you have prioritized. So that's step one for you. So for those of you who are just not tuning in, we're talking today about time management. This is a like super critical tool, and I can share, like, as a big asterisk on what I was telling you earlier, that this is one of the busiest, craziest, hectic times in my life with my schedule and with speaking. And I'm working on my next book, which I will tell you all about. Hopefully by next month, we'll have that on pre-order. And just all these projects are going on, exciting things, and I'm grateful. Um, but even during all of that, I'm still working on how do I manage my time, right? So the first thing to think about again is, what are your priorities for you? The second thing to think about is, what do you need to delegate? Right? And delegation is really hard sometimes for you to say, hey, whatever it is, maybe it's something at work, maybe it's something in your household, maybe it's something that you can get help with in some way. How can you delegate, give someone else the task to help you? So for some of you who may be parents, it might be saying to whomever it is around you that's supportive of you, like, hey, I need a little break. Can you watch the kids? Or for some of you, it's someone else that can help you, whether it's kids or significant other or whomever it is you have around you, that you can say, hey, I have this overwhelming thing in my life. Can you help me take this off my plate. And a lot of times there are people that are willing to help you, able to help you, want to support you, but a lot of times, which is a common thing, we struggle sometimes to ask for help. But delegating, what can you delegate? What can you get off your plate in order for you to feel less overwhelmed and for you to have more time for you? Really important. So the second thing is delegate. There's so many ways to delegate. Honestly, like even if, I mean, I could think of a lot of different ways. But if it's a lot of things that I hear most often that are stressful for people when it comes to time management is things like household chores or those types of things. I know some people that I know of use I don't know, like one of those, I used to use it way long ago, but like a meal service prep kit or something like that, where like the food's already pretty much cut up, ready for you just to throw on the stove and make it something quick, for example. Or again, as I mentioned, if it's kids or if it's grandkids, even if you're the other person too, that can be helpful for that person to support them in that way. If you're the grandparent, let's say, and you want to help someone else out, that might be helping in their time management as well, to literally just take things off of your plate. All right. So that's tip number two. The other thing to think about, really important, we stress this all the time for those of you who are new to mental health moment. The third thing to think about with time management is actually recharging. So the first thing was prioritize. The second thing was to delegate. And the third thing is to really think about, how do you recharge? And I know you're like, wait a minute, if I stop what I'm doing to recharge and reset, maybe it'll take more time. But what a lot of studies are finding is that recharge time that you need during the day can actually help to increase your productivity. So sometimes, and some of you know what I'm talking about, there's different tasks that you can do. If you are really tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, and trying to do something, it literally could take you more time than it needs to, because you have to take more breaks, or you're feeling too sluggish, or maybe you're reading something you have to keep rereading over and over again. Like, these are time drainers. But if you take the time to reset, recharge, sometimes it literally takes a couple minutes during your day. When you take the time to reset yourself, then you allow yourself in whatever you're doing. If you're at home right now, if you're retired, or if you're working, or if you're a parent or a grandparent, or whatever role that you have, you're in school, whatever role that you have right now, it allows you to be more productive in what you're actually doing, which saves you more time at the end of the day, right? So if you're taking 2 hours to complete something that could have taken you 1, right? You're actually managing your time more efficiently when you have reset yourself during the day. And so one of the latest studies, so one of the things that I do is work with different companies right now on burnout prevention. And so one of the studies I was looking at was even showing, especially for remote workers, if you work from home, if this applies to you, one of the things that's so impactful is literally taking a break for lunch, because a lot of times it's very tempting to just work through the lunch break. So you start your day, maybe you're in meetings, maybe you have things going on, or whatever it is you're doing from your work from home job, you're just going straight through, not taking any breaks, not taking any lunch. You get to the end of the day, you're exhausted. Or maybe you didn't even get as much stuff as you wanted done in that day because you felt burnt out. So what the studies were showing is, if you take however much time you need, that 10, 15 minutes, take the lunch break, or take whatever time that you need to reset, to take the deep breath, to have some food, to replenish your body, to move, to get up out of your chair, whatever it is, that is what can help you be more productive and save you time and create more time, right? That's what we all want here. A lot of times we tend to disconnect and not recognize how important it is when our self-care is really, really connected to our time management. We forget that those things that can be really linked. So when you're taking care of yourself, again, you're more productive. Yay, right? We hopefully want that. You're more energized. You're not getting burnt out. You're taking the time for you that translates into you essentially having more time because you're getting the things that you need to get done, even if it's just household chores, you're getting them done in a more timely manner. One more tip for you today. So again, for those of you just tuning in, we're talking today about how can you effectively manage your time, right? So number one, you have to prioritize what is most important to you and stick to that commitment. The second thing is for you to think about what can you delegate in your life. Extremely important, hard to do sometimes if you're a type of person that you're like, I hate asking for help, but it's important for you to delegate. The third thing is for you to think about how can you recharge? All of us need to recharge our batteries at some point. So taking that, even if it's small amounts of time throughout your day to recharge so you can have more energy to effectively do the things you're doing. And then the fourth tip I want to leave you with today is to think about reflection. So what I mean by that, and this is something, yeah, I would say of the thousands and thousands of people that I've met throughout my career through different, whether it's speaking engagements, whether it's in the practice, whether it's different countries I've been to, like a lot of different people that I've had the opportunity to talk to. One of the issues is we're so busy, we're just all busy doing stuff, and we don't take enough time to stop and reflect. And what I mean by that when it comes to time management is you have to really sit often with yourself and go, what is it that I'm doing right now that's working for my time management? And what is it that I'm doing that is not effective for me, right? Because we all need to take the time to be like, okay, I need to do a little bit more of this, a little bit less of this, a little, right? Like, but that changes. You might be like, man, I need to like skip that Netflix show today, right? And have my self-care time. Or maybe you do need the downtime and you need the Netflix show. Like what do you need to change? Like what is working for you? Because something is really stressing you out in your day. If you're like, man, I'm struggling with time management. I'm struggling to get everything done. Something has to change or else you're going to hit burnout. Or, and also, not only does something have to change, but again, sometimes you need to give up something, take a break from something like social media or like the, 5 Netflix shows you watch when you're like, man, I should have been doing something else, right? Or whatever it is that you need to stop doing. Or on the opposite end, you need to add something back in that's going to help you be more energized. That's going to help you be able to get through those tasks more efficiently. So those are the things I want you to really think about today. Take the time, especially to reflect for you, what is working and what do you need to improve on. It's really important going back to the recharge part. Like it's so it's so powerful. It seems like a little thing to do, like, oh, just take a couple minutes break. I mean, it does. Well, I don't know how how long it takes you to eat, right? Like some of us may take a whole hour. Most people don't take a full hour to eat if they're at home working from home, right? So it doesn't even take that long, but just a short amount of time to take quick snacks or yeah, definitely hydration, very important. Or whatever it is that you need to do to replenish your body as well, physically replenish your body, which of course affects your mental health state as well. So definitely add those into your routines, you all, as much as you can. Have the mindset like, how can I work on my time management? How can I get better? Nobody's perfect. This isn't, try to your best to not get into a place of self-blame. Really important. All right. We don't want to take too many steps back. Don't get into a place of self-blame, but instead just go, you know what? Now that I'm sitting back to reflect, yeah, these things, I need to tweak some of these things. I need to add more self-care in. I need to add my recharge time. I need, like someone said, I need to add in a short lunch break, add in extra breaks, get up, stand up, move throughout my day. I need movement, right? Like, what do you need to be more productive, to be more efficient? I can tell you, well, first I can tell you it's addicting in a good way. Taking care of yourself and resetting, recharging. I think for those of you who are not new to mental health, the beginning of this year, well, every year I'm trying something new, you all, when it comes to wellness, because I'm continuing, just as how I preach to you about being the best version of who you are, so you can show up powerfully for yourself and those around you is something I do as well in my life. So this year I added in a lot more meditation. I love my meditation time. It's like a guided meditation that I listen to different people and things like that. Like it, I love it. It's so centering, it's so resetting. I do it at different times throughout my day, just depending on how the day goes, because my days are just different with my little crazy schedule. But I make sure that it gets done right at some point throughout the day. So again, what it doesn't have to be meditation for you, but for whatever it is for you that you know is going to reset and recharge you, make sure you're adding that into your day. I actually have low blood sugar, so I really have to watch what I eat and make sure I keep my blood sugar stable. But even if you don't have that issue, regardless, I mean, yes, not eating, skipping meals, and things like that, it can affect your mental state and physical state as well. So again, just making sure that you're nourishing yourselves, taking care of yourselves, really, really important. The practice, like even like inside our building, they'll well, clearly they're taking breaks and walking inside the building, even, or maybe sometimes outside. But I do live in Florida, so if it's in the summertime, most people are not walking outside in like 100-degree weather and like sweating profusely while they're at work. But even inside of our building, I've seen people just taking breaks, obviously, through the day and walking. So again, depending on what climate you live in, right now it may be, I don't know, snowing, or maybe it's hot like it is in Florida. But either way, finding a place to walk, whether it's outside, indoor, even getting up, taking some steps, are really, really important. So that's a great. I'm going to wrap up mental health moment for today. If you need me, you can go to drnekeshiahammond.com. Also, don't forget, if you came in a little bit later, I was telling you all in the beginning, but I will be speaking at the Get to Worthy Summit. That date is May 24th and 25th in Philadelphia. You can register at gettoworthysummit.com. And you can use my promo code Hammond10 to get $10 off of general admission or VIP tickets. It's going to be an amazing summit. I'm super excited to be there and be a part of it. All things mental health, emotional wellness. How do you take care of yourself? It's going to be, I mean, the speakers are going to be amazing. Panelists, like they're going to have so much, and it's going to be incredible, an incredible event. So make sure to register for that. And I will see you all. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, you guys.